The epilogue of Red Dead Redemption 2 was an absolute dream come true to me. To be able to play as John Marston again, visit places like Armadillo, McFarlane's Ranch, and Tall Trees, and just explore the world like you did in Red Dead Redemption 1. It was absolutely amazing. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting them to do it, but Rockstar really pulled it off, and it just feels like a next-gen version of Red Dead Redemption 1. And obviously, it's gotten a lot of people thinking, how amazing would a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake be in the Red Dead Redemption 2 engine? I know I for one, after playing the epilogue of Red Dead Redemption 2, that's all I've wanted since this game came out. And with leaks saying that Rockstar are planning on revamping some of their old games, it really brings me back to just wanting a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake so badly. It's been 11 years since that game came out, and I think that Rockstar would do really well if they were to remake this game. And I know I'm not alone in saying that I really want this to be a thing that happens. Whether or not this will ever come to pass is definitely beyond any of us, but today I'm going to talk about my ideals for a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake, and how I think it could really improve the experience of the original game were they to remake Red Dead Redemption 1 in the Red Dead Redemption 2 engine. So today we're going to be talking about the ever elusive Red Dead Redemption 1 remake, and talking about whether or not it's ever actually going to happen, and what I would want from it. As I said earlier, Red Dead Redemption is 11 years old this year, and it hasn't aged badly, but it could really benefit from a new coat of paint. I'm pretty sure we'll all agree when I say that Red Dead Redemption 2 looks leagues better than Red Dead Redemption 1. It's got that hyper-realistic look, and it's got this amazing lighting and amazing world environments, and I'd love to see Red Dead Redemption 2's graphics used for a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake. Again, don't think I'm saying that Red Dead Redemption 1 looks bad. That game pushed the envelope of open world games at the time, but seeing the map of Red Dead Redemption 1 in RDR2's graphics would be amazing. And I mean, we've already got a taster of what that's like with the areas of New Austin that you can actually explore in Red Dead 2. And I mean, it's not exactly like a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake would even be that hard, considering they've already remade a good chunk of Red Dead Redemption 1's map within Red Dead 2 already. Obviously, it would take some touching up and changing because it's set many years before Red Dead 1, and you would have to change some parts of the map to accommodate that time gap. But the framework for the map is there. You have Armadillo, McFarlane's Ranch, and all the areas that are surrounding that. You've got Thieves Landing, you've got Blackwater, you've got Beecher's Hope. All of the main areas in Red Dead Redemption 1 are already there. I mean, you've already got Tall Trees as well. It's all there. I'm sure a lot of you already know about this already, but what's weird is that even massive chunks of Mexico are already completely modeled and designed. You can glitch into Mexico in Red Dead Redemption 2, and you can explore some of the areas. Fair enough, all of the buildings, or pretty much all of them, are missing, but you can actually go to places where there were once buildings, and there are some modeled buildings there, so I don't exactly know what's going on there, because people found it years ago and nothing has come from it whatsoever, but a lot of people think that points towards a possible Red Dead Redemption 1 remake being even more possible than it already is. The fact that you have all of these areas from Red Dead Redemption 1, plus a big chunk of Mexico already modeled, it seems like it would be child's play to develop the world for Rockstar. Now, I'm not saying that the entire world being there is going to make it an easy undertaking to completely remake Red Dead Redemption 1. It won't be an easy task, but at least the assets being there makes it a far less difficult undertaking. It's like they're just teasing us with the prospect of a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake, because I know for many years since the sequel came out, many people have really wanted a remake of the first game, and having all those assets there just makes it seem like it's so easily doable. A remake would also help keep the continuity of the second game. It's almost jarring when you boot up Red Dead 1 and play through the entire story, and there's no mention of characters like Arthur, Hosea, Charles, Sadie, and you could chalk this down to John being a very private man who doesn't like to talk about his past, but it still seems to me like there were moments where it would be perfect for an Arthur reference to be there, and maybe if they made a remake of Red Dead Redemption 1, they could actually go in and add in more dialogue that references old characters characters. I know that'd mean a lot to me. For example, that scene where John's talking to Landon Ricketts about his past, it seemed like that moment was the perfect time to slip in a little Arthur reference or something like that, and just not having it there, it sort of feels like something is missing. So I would really like them to rework some of the dialogue if they were to make a remake, so it actually accommodates for some of the characters that weren't mentioned at all in Red Dead 1. Additionally, a lot of the scenes where John is speaking to Dutch, they could talk about Arthur. I would really love it if there was just a brief mention of Arthur. Obviously don't overdo it because it'd get ridiculous if you're always mentioning Arthur, but I think a few sprinkled around the game would be really nice. Something that Red Dead 2 did a lot better than the first game is its mission structure. It knew how to balance dialogue, travelling, and gunfights very well, whereas I think the entirety of Red Dead 1 has way too much fighting. I recently played through it again on stream and I noticed there were just so many moments that could have easily been just nice dialogue and character and world building, but instead they just throw loads of waves of enemies at you and it gets really boring. Whereas the gunfights in Red Dead 2 actually feel organic and they feel like they work their way into the story well. They basically just don't overdo it with the endless waves of enemies in Red Dead 2, and I think this is something that they could really translate into Red Dead 1, which just gives them more time to add more dialogue in. I don't know about you guys watching, but I'm a massive fan of when you're just riding to a location and the characters have some chat about something that's going on in the world or happening in the story currently. It's just really nice downtime to me, and Red Dead 1 doesn't have enough of it, so I really feel like this is something they could do. They need to modernize the gameplay loop and cut out some of the mindless shooting. Not to mention that Red Dead 2 is leagues above the first game in terms of realism. I'd love to see him add fishing, a proper hunting system, clothes for certain types of weather, in-depth gun customization, shows to watch at theatres, shops to buy useful items, and most importantly, I really want a dedicated horse system just like in Red Dead 2. There's something about having your own horse that is able to die and you can name it and you can pat it on the head and give it apples and stuff. Being able to do that just adds that next level of realism to the horse riding, and I'd love to see it in a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake. It definitely would mean a lot. And obviously that comes with all the horse services like dyeing its mane, changing the texture of its mane, buying apples and stuff like that. It just adds a way more interesting dynamic than just having certain classes of horses that go faster than others, because you really do feel like you're at a disadvantage if you don't use the American Standardbred or the Hungarian Halfbred, for example. Those two horses really dominated my time in my original playthroughs of Red Dead 1, and I do like the designs of other horses more, so it'd be nice to be able to have whichever horse I want and be able to bond with it so it increases the speed of that horse. Speaking of realism and changing mission structure, although Red Dead Redemption 1's stranger missions are good, they could do with being a little bit more in-depth instead of so cut and dry. A lot of the Red Dead 1 stranger missions, they're interesting and they are pretty cool, but they're very short and they don't allow for a lot of character exposition, getting to know these strangers. Whereas I feel like Red Dead 2 is very good at developing these characters for a short amount of time, so that you can sort of get used to them and they become a part of the game's world, but they don't stick around for too long. I would like to see the stranger missions revamped a little bit, and maybe even adding in some more stranger missions into Red Dead Redemption 1 Remake, possibly for continuity's sake. Maybe you could run into one of the old gang members in New Austin years later. I just feel like stuff like this would be really nice. Like especially the stranger mission when you meet Sister Calderon in Mexico. I would love it if there was a small reference to Arthur there and what he did for her during his time when he was alive in Red Dead 2. It would just be such a nice way of referencing his character, because when you go there to Mexico and speak to her in Red Dead 1, it feels like there should be some form of dialogue there where they just reminisce on the past, but obviously the developers had no idea what Red Dead 2 was going to be at the time, so they just couldn't put it in there. Whereas a remake really would open doors to all these nice references to Red Dead 2. Yeah, if you can't already tell, I am a massive fan of fan service. Obviously I don't want them to overdo it by just referencing stuff all the time, but again, it feels like there are select moments in Red Dead 1 where references would fit in really nicely. In terms of making the side missions more in depth, I think the same could be done to the bounty hunting missions. Don't get me wrong, I like hunting for people in Red Dead 1, it's pretty fun, it's just a nice thing to do if you need a bit of extra money, but the missions really aren't that interesting whatsoever. You ride to a location, get off your horse, kill the people, take the guy, and then you're done. Whereas in Red Dead 2, each of the bounties actually had a small little story, and there was something about them that made you feel a lot more involved than the ones in Red Dead 1. Red Dead 1 is just mere missions. Red Dead 2 actually feels like you're getting involved in bounties because Arthur speaks to the people that he's capturing. And of course we get a small taste of this if you do them as John as well, because John has the exact same mission structures as the one that Arthur does. I do tend to leave the bounty hunting missions to play as John, to be honest, because I think the bounty hunter style fits him a lot more, and I would love to see more of these in a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake. Not to mention that PC players could finally play Red Dead Redemption 1 if they completely remade the game. Obviously, it wouldn't be the original Red Dead 1, but it would be a version of Red Dead 1. I think that's better than nothing. Imagine only having access to a PC, you don't really have any consoles, and you really want to play Red Dead 1, but it's almost not worth buying an entire console just to play one game. Maybe if a remake came out and they released it for PC, that it would actually mean that people could play Red Dead 1 on PC for once. I don't know the validity of this, but I heard that Red Dead Redemption 1's development was really messy and the game's code is really buggy, so it was never able to actually be released on PC. I don't have anything to confirm this, but I have read it and I've heard a lot of people say that, so I'm just going to take it as fact unless someone in the comments wants to correct me. But yeah, it'd be nice to spread the Red Dead love around so even people on PC could play it, because it just really surprises me that even 11 years on, Rockstar never bothered to release Red Dead 1 on PC whatsoever. And there you go, that's basically all of the things that I can think of that I would really like a Red Dead Redemption 1 remake for. It's pretty unlikely that we will get a remake, I'm just gonna say that right now. Rockstar's much more popular series GTA is bringing in so much more money, and it's much more likely that the rumours of them remastering the 3 classic GTA games is much more likely than Red Dead Redemption 1. And plus, a remake is a lot more expensive to make than just a remaster, so it would take a lot more money as well. But it's something that I've wanted for a long time, and I just wanted to make a video talking about what my perfect Red Dead Redemption 1 remake would be like. Let me know what you guys think about a possible Red Dead 1 remake and what you want from it in the comment section below. It'd be nice to get a discussion going and hear what you guys think. And of course, if you want more videos like this, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe. It would help me out a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's it from me, and take care everyone.